Let's try this. And there you go. All I had to do is just to swipe up on... I didn't say Google, shut up. Shut up. Stop. Google is having a hissy fit. Hi, I'm Marta and this is NotEnoughTECH. Ever since I've switched from Pixel 3 to Xiaomi Mi 9, and if you're interested why, there is a link to my review in here, I've been missing a app drawer. After some googling, I finally gave up and started to use Nova Launcher. I was quite excited to have my app drawer back, but also Nova Launcher has a couple of neat shortcuts and TASKER integration, which I'm going to demonstrate in this video. So I hope you're prepared, because that's going to be quite cool. Apart from Nova Launcher coming with the app drawer, which is something I really missed on my Xiaomi Mi 9, I've discovered something really cool. You can actually assign shortcuts to a folder. Now, if you are Nova Launcher veteran, you're probably laughing your head off right now because you knew about this for a long time. I didn't. However, I came up with two brilliant things that you can do with this shortcut. First of all, you can assign a default app to your folder. So by default, you obviously create a folder to have similar apps in a group. And then you can open the folder and click on the app. That's not a problem. But now you can assign a default app. So for example, if I wanted to make Patreon my default app, all I have to do is just swipe it up and the Patreon will open. I don't even have to go inside the folder, which is brilliant. And that's the simple functionality. Now, a little bit more tricky functionality is actually implementing digital well-being to a folder. So I have a social apps in here. So I have my Facebook, Instagram and Twitter accounts. And I can now, with a swipe up, monitor, thanks to TASKER, how much I use my social media. So if I swipe up, it's going to give me a daily and a monthly breakdown of the stats. Now, obviously, I use apps a little bit more than on the screen right now. It's just the counter has been reset for the testing purposes. Let's start with the first shortcut. All you have to do is just a long press on a folder, click Edit, and then you'll see that there is a swipe option. And go to the apps and select the app of your choice that is inside of the folder. Now, once you do that, obviously you can either access the app by opening the folder and clicking on it, or you can just simply swipe up. Now, here's the hard bit. Let's go to a TASKER and let's talk about this setup. Now, I'll start with app index. App index, it's an array in which we're going to set all the names for the apps you're going to monitor. If you're not going to add all the apps, that's fine, it's not a problem. What you have to do is just type at least 1 or 2 apps in there and then select these apps in app stats profile. So I've created a profile which monitors the apps each time the app is open. Select all the apps you want to monitor. It doesn't mean that the app's going to be displayed in a folder. It's just you selecting all the apps that you wish to monitor this way. We're going to take care of the displaying the stats a little bit later on. So once you've got that, how it works basically, when the app is open, we want to take the information about the app that has been opened, which is app info. Then we want to store that app name, which is available thanks to app info in a temporary variable. And then what I want to do, there is a special formula you can actually use to search the array for that name, and that's what I'm doing. It's going to return 2 values. It's going to return either 0 if the app isn't present, or it will return the value of the index in that array. So if that's the Facebook was in the first position, so we'll return 1, for example. If that's a 0, this means that we have to do a couple of things. So if that index is 0, what I'm doing in here is I'm updating the list of apps. So I'm pushing to the first position that app that has been opened. So as you can see, that app index will get automatically updated. Because I did that and I shifted that value, I have to adjust the same values, or shift the values 1 app in my DST array. DST is the daily statistics and MST array is monthly statistics. So I'm basically pushing all the values 1 app, making space for the new app. So once I do that, lastly there is an app start, and that app start array basically holds the information about what time we started this app using time in seconds of times. That happens if the index is 0. If index isn't 0, first we have to remove the app from that index to make a space. Otherwise, if we're going just to push it without popping it first, it will shift and destroy our array order. So it's very important that we pop the value first and then push the new value in on the same space. What happened when we actually exit the app? So it's app starts minus. So first of all, remember I've assigned the name to the app temp, and this way I don't have to do anything clever to actually know which application we left. And then I'm searching again to find out which index of the app I've been using and which index I'm going to use for the further calculations. So once I've got the index and then once I've got the app name, I know I can simply just go and look for that value of the application starting using that app start and index from here, removing current stamp and previous stamp together, and you'll get the elapsed time in seconds. So once we've got this, there is a couple of things that we're gonna do for month and for the day. It's very easy. So basically we already know the index, because index is not going to change. First pop the information from the array. So if the information 0 already contains some time, then what we do, we're popping it out into the in this case we're dealing with MST, which is monthly, so there's a monthly temporary variable. What we're going to do, use that monthly temporary variable and add the current time in seconds, so we create a sum of this, and then we push it back to our monthly array, and we replace the old value with the new one, and we do the same for the day values. For the day we're using just the array DST, then the index is the same because it's the same app, and then the temp is daily temporary. And lastly, once we've done with that application, well, I'm just going to clear app temporary variable just to get rid of the value from it. Social folder is the application that we're going to select in a folder. So if we're going to go to my app, edit, or folder app, edit, and then you'll see the swipe action is social folder, which you select from shortcuts, and then task shortcuts. You have to have the assigned icon for it, so you can actually select it. Now, the way I did it is quite, I'll say it's clever. It's lazy for you guys because you don't have to do much. When you download this, all you have to do is just specify the index. So in this case, I have 2, 3, and 4. So I want for this folder monitor only apps stored with 2, 3, or 4. So let's take a look at my variables. So variables in here, and you'll see that's app 2, 3, and 4, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can actually decide about the order. So if you type in 4, 3, 2, then you're gonna have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook for this folder. I've included Patreon in here because I wanted to show you that you don't have to select all the apps for the folder. That could be for a completely different task. All you have to do is just specify the index. So once you specify that index, which is in a social folder, you assign this task to that folder, and we're going to use that index values and pass it over to our calculate stats, and our parameter 1 is going to be index, so that's information about the numbers we picked. It's going to be passed over to that subtask. For some strange reason I have to do this. Now I couldn't use the parameter 1 directly, so I have to set the folder to a parameter 1 values, so that would have 2, 3, 4 separated by comma. So if I split this, I'll create an array for the folder array, which means I can use that for my loop. So that loop will take these values 2, 3, and 4 and iterate and do all the tasks. So first we'll assign the name, so the loop value is gonna have, let's say, 2, so we'll check what is the index at 2 and we'll assign that to a name. Once this is assigned, it will calculate the time. And now I've talked about this previously in a previous tutorial, so I'm using a JavaScriptlet formula to do it because I didn't want to have another 2 subtasks. So if you're interested in that, just head back to my tutorial about converting seconds to a readable time, and you'll learn how to do it properly. And lastly, what it's going to do, it's basically going to get that information and back from that task in a human readable time and set it as the display timed. Now, and lastly, all I have to do is just format it and add the enter at the end, so I could display it one underneath another. This for loop will iterate as many times as many apps I have. And the same is going to happen for my month loop. It's just going to update the different values for the different folder. That's all that's going to happen. So that's going to run 3 times if you selected 3 apps. That's going to run 3 times if you selected 3 apps. And then what you're going to have is 2 flash actions, which basically display results stored in this case display monthly, and in this case display daily. This is pretty much it. Now, how to set daily and monthly statistics? It's very simple, because we're collecting both numbers at the same time. So your daily statistics are also a monthly statistics, but all you have to do is just reset daily statistics on a daily basis. So that's what's going to happen. So I'm just going to clear the variable starting with DST. That's going to clear an entire array. And then what I'm going to do is set the count to 1 and iterate number of times. So I'm have a for loop in here, which is going to go enough times, depending on how big my app index array is, to override everything with zeros. So I'm going to be pushing zeros all over the empty array X number of times. So if you have 3 apps, it's going to push 3 zeros to element 1, 2, and 3. And I do this so later on I wouldn't have any mistakes when performing all these tasks. And exactly the same, this is obviously running at 12 AM, so at night, and this is running on the 1st of each month, and it does exactly the same. It's just doing it with, I actually don't need that, I forgot about this. I'm doing it exactly the same with the monthly one, so what I'm doing in here is just clearing the monthly and going through the same loop, clearing the monthly array and overwriting with zeros. So when you actually do that, you'll notice that all the numbers in here is going to be zeroed. Lastly, there is a couple of helping tasks. There is a setup task which clears everything and overrides with zeros. So it is important that before you run the starter, you fill in the app index with your details. So you would create a couple of entries and override them at 0. And later on, when you're adding new apps, that's going to be taken care of by the app stats profile. And that's how I explained already. I know that was a lot to take at once. Now, there is a link in the video, so just go to the description, click on that link, and everything will be there for you, provided as well with examples and a little bit more detail. So feel free to visit that and read some more. There will be also a link to download that from the TASKER share, so you don't have to go through all that trouble yourself. All you have to do is just to download the file, set it up, and it will work for you as well, providing you have a Nova launcher or you're willing to assign a different implementation of triggering it, because obviously that will work as an app shortcut, etc. If you're new to my channel, then follow me on social media if you're interested in my content, because I don't have a posting schedule. So if you don't want to miss a video or article, because I do both, then pick a media of your choice and follow me there. And as usual, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.